the story and learnt the story of Peggy Hughes, I was both inspired, you know, it was incredible, and the things that she has done over nearly 50 years of service, I believe, Peggy. I think we've just crossed over 50 years at some point, haven't we? Just about.
2 years to go.
2 years to go. Yeah, I'll nudge it over. We'll put the clock forward. Nudge it to 50. For one person in this uniform as a Māori warden to spend 48 years of her life protecting our community, providing aroha to our communities, to whānau, to families, to all sorts of people coming and going was absolutely incredible. And I could not be prouder of the fact that I'm standing here today offering you our thanks and offering you our commitment that long may that journey continue. I'll say a few more things about the story of Peggy as well, but one is more recent, and that is the advent of P in our communities. P is one of the most shocking, evil, horrible things that we could ever imagine that takes a massive toll on not only our young people. This is not a young people drug. This is also middle-aged people, people over the age of 40, people who are just working and all of a sudden it slips away and we're into an epidemic, particularly in Tātukaro and up in the far north, Tairāwhiti, and in my hometown of Maitarangi down there in Tauranga. You know, I used to think that chefs and cooks, somebody was asking me to go out to a restaurant. No, apparently we not only take the drug and consume it, we're cooking it and we're selling it. And we're selling it to our young people, and that's got to stop. And it was a story that I read in 2019 on an article about Peggy and her comments about P and this being epidemic that really forced my mind about what more we could do. So Peggy, if it's one thing I took from the story most recently, it was that and how we can stop that evil drug. So thank you for that. What we'd like you to do is come forward, if you can. Constance, if you join us. The other lady in the green uniform, for all of those don't know her as Constance. Our Constance and I were off to a rough start. Hey.
Aida.
Hey.
Aida. Yes, what is mate?
Yeah, mate. Everything is a negotiation. So come over here, Raymond, Peggy. I know you don't like recognition, Peggy, so we weren't going to tell you until the last minute this is going on. But ladies and gentlemen, just a small token of our affection for Peggy Hughes. A beautiful set of forever flowers. They're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And this beautiful little glass object that my cousin made, remanufactured it. Oh, she's good like that. But it's simply inscribed from a grateful New Zealand Māori Council. And on the other side, it is Peggy Hughes, for the people and the trust of the Māori wardens. So thank you very much.
I just saw her, that's just...
Oh, God, where do I start? Do I have to talk?
Yes.
Well, thank you everyone for being here today. And all I knew was I was coming to our normal district council meeting. But it's not so. I'm going to get it after. Sorry, Constance. And, well, my life started back as being a psychiatric nurse. Coming from a farm, a big farm, and I worked myself up, and I think, I'm cutting out of it here, that gave me the strength to what I'm doing today. I was doing the community work long before I became a Maori warden. Like chasing kids, getting these truancy kids, and everything else that goes with it. And before the Glenfield Shopping Centre became as it is, I used to have to go and look under the car park for these kids. And I think to myself, well, they made themselves comfortable and under there. They have their little bottles of something that you think, where did they get it from? But then we've had the adults going into these bottle stores, procuring these bottles to give to these miners. So, yeah, I was the worst person out during my time as a Maori warden, because I was always here and always there and making sure that these kids are not there and going into the pubs and they say, well, here she comes. And I know the voices are there, and then I'd get to get them out of there, and then I had to take them to their, wherever they were staying. And I was working as a two tangata programs. A lot of you might remember that. And I'm really sorry to see that defunct, because we got a lot of satisfaction from that. And at the time I was working with the community officers that they don't have anymore. I used to pick them up, and we used to go out as far out as past Pārewa to the farms that's out there, that's got children that needed help, school kids that needed help. And this was my job before we got so many wardens in. And we used to go all over the place. Then we'll get calls from over the city side and say, well, look, we've got so-and-so, so-and-so. They're lost. They thought they'd take off from their homes. And this is from my area, which is Waikato. So we'd have a pickup point over in the city, which is usually outside the police station. And we make sure that these kids are taken back to where they belong. And the same with Taitokoro. If any of them were from up there, and we have people that's from up there, we should get them together and they would take them home. And it's just so sad that that's no war. But if you work around it, you can do that when you feel that it's right to do. So there was a lot of work to be done in that. And I was involved with the school committees, and while I was working as well as my job, we all had careers. All of these wardens that are sitting here had careers, but then when they retired, they had time on their hands, so they thought, well, okay, volunteers. So that's what we all are today, volunteers. And you were talking about these warrants. When I first started, there was no warrant. And it didn't matter whether you had a warrant or not. And then, at my time, we came in and we thought, well, okay, on the North Shore, they never had any warrants. So at the time, being involved with two tangata programs, I was nominated to become a Maori warden in 1973. And I'm still here. But I don't think about the years that I've done, because you just keep going and going. So a lot of us here are not just there because you're volunteers. We all had careers. And it surprised you all to see how many has been doctors, teachers, nurses, you name it. They'd be sitting there in the north. So we all come from careers. But nobody stops to think about that. So in my life, I had a visit from North Shore Times the other day, which I'm not quite used to having all of these things. So anyway, I had a mixture of my life. When I joined the wardens, it was just community work, nothing like today. It was like you just helped at schools and helped the elderly people and visit the hospitals and that. But today it's totally different. It's more political, I feel, and I just speak for myself. It's more political, and the Community Development Act, to myself again, once there in 1962, that was okay for us at that time. But today, it doesn't suit us at all because we're doing a lot of things we shouldn't be doing. But nothing is said about that. So, we've been trying to get this Development Act thing through, so hurry it up. Then you'll be legalised. So, you know, there is a lot of things that was in my life, and coming from a farm, I had the best of everything, of the time. And the children of today, I don't think they know what work is. I happened to visit a grandson of mine with his children. They got 2 children, and they're proper little farm girls. They're out on the farm there, and I come back into the city, hello, different show altogether. But this is how somebody, I've left out a lot of my life. I don't think you are interested in that. But because my husband was in the Navy first, he was in there for a few years. I've got 4 children, and Constance is one of them. And then when he finished, he joined the traffic department and then ended up in the police department. So he says, don't ever ask me to be a warden. I says, I have no intentions of doing it. Because we clash, you see. They have their own thing and I have mine. So that's what my life has been about. So all of my 4 children are all grown up now. They got their lives to things, and so I'm on my own and I can do what I'm thinking will want. So and of course with my job, I've got November this year would be my 48th year. And that's straight without you never know, I might reach my 50th year. So that, thank you very much. If there's any questions, don't ask difficult ones.
Sticking with the North Shore colours.
Green colour. This guy, years ago, I went to a seminar at Hamilton, and this old guy asked me a question about why did we change it? I says, I've changed it because it was more softer for myself. And that's only for North Shore, but we are all under the same district. The colour of the uniform doesn't make much difference. It's just that this is North Shore, over this side of the bridge. So he rattled off the colours that we have. And so I thought, well, okay. So the green green is the growth of youth. And the gold is the bread of life. And the black is the remembrance of those who passed.
Oh.
And that's what we've got on our hats.
Oh. Oh.
And that's it.
I want to change my colour.
That nearly ends our morning together. There will be a cup of tea up at the local RSA. There's pie already prepared. Please partake in that. But to finish us off before we close for a prayer, I do want to ask Many Mangu to come up and say a few words as well. A lot of your people live here in Tamaki. A lot of people from Ngāpui are right here. Mind you, I know are also in Australia and other places too. But you know, we're just talking about things such as growth, the bread of life, those who have passed, and we're on the cusp of this new future now. You know, I say to people wherever they might be, our people wherever they are, you know, yes, there is a resurgence in interest in Te Reo Māori, and long may that continue and grow. And yes, there is a resurgence in interest in all things tikanga, culture, and that sort of thing, but there's also a resurgence amongst our young people about the state of Māori affairs. You know, everything from the future of water, the future of land, the future of air up here, the future of jobs, the future of small business, the future of everything. And from what I've seen right across the country, that interest is huge, and no more have I seen it than in Taitoke. Mary, come up and say a few words.
Kia ora, Matthew. Kia ora, Father. That was a hard act to follow, you know. But congratulations, kia koe me tō whānau me wo rangatira I tō taha. Tēnā koe. Thank you, tēnā koe mo te whakatupera mai tēnei